Tommy!
Yep.
You know you said when you were going to return to YouTube,
Yeah.
you said there was a movie you're going to review.
Yeah, I'm just picking out some movies now to review over December.
No, you said you were going to review this one in particular.
Come on, I didn't mean it. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You can't expect me to review this.
Well, yeah, it's a good movie. You got to review it.
It's not a good movie. This is a fucking disgrace. This makes no sense. You do know that.
I thought it was pretty cool, actually.
This ended the Spider-Man franchise for 2 years.
I quite liked Rhino. He looks a bit like a Transformer from Michael Bay.
Look, Rhino was in it for 5 minutes at the end. You being serious now?
Yeah, he looked like fucking Megatron. It was awesome.
I'm not reviewing this. I'm not reviewing it, I'm sorry. No. No! You're out of order! Clean it up. What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today we will be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, one of the worst movies ever made. Now, I'm going to probably be a little angry in this review because I am a massive Spider-Man fan, and this movie nearly tore that out of me. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 picks up where The Amazing Spider-Man left off. We see Peter Parker, portrayed by Andrew Garfield, continue to struggle with his commitments as the superhero Spider-Man, as well as his relationship with Gwen Stacy, portrayed by Emma Stone. He also has to face off threats from Electro, Green Goblin and Rhino, or at least that's what was marketed to us, because what was marketed to us and what we get are two very different things. And as you are probably aware, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, I started these Spider-Man reviews back in July 2018. And I put off doing this one for months because I absolutely hate this movie. And as there are not many positives about this movie, let's get straight into the negatives. So let's get probably the main thing out of the way. The expedition in this movie. This movie's story is boring. It really is boring. The majority of this movie, or at least 70% of this movie, is people standing around and talking, or people trying to find out stuff. Forget the fun Spider-Man, which we got in Spider-Man in 2002. We have a boring Spider-Man now. Actually, you hardly see Spider-Man in this movie. The majority of it is just Peter Parker talking to Gwen Stacy, or Peter Parker talking to Aunt May, or Peter Parker just talking to any random person while he tries to find out the massive secret which his mum and dad left him before he died. Now, the problem with this storyline is it's just boring. It's all over the place. And it's a complete mess. There are so many subplots in this movie. You've got Aunt May becoming a nurse. I don't know why that's in this movie. It has no relevance to the movie. You've got Harry Osborn dying from a disease, which he's dying from right now, even though his father took about 40 years to die from disease, but Harry Osborn is dying right this minute. And he also needs Spider-Man's blood, because magic blood is always involved in a terrible movie. There are so many plots and subplots in this movie which it just confuses you. Your brain just becomes a bundle of stuff because you don't really know what's important. And I have heard that this movie had far many more subplots which weren't actually included in this movie. This movie was a train wreck. There were so many subplots in this movie. They obviously just strung something together. It really damages this film. Now that that's out the way, let's talk about the villains. Now, the villains in the previous Spider-Man movies have most of the time been good. The only one which I didn't like was Venom in Spider-Man 3. And in this movie, all three villains are terrible. Electro probably had the most potential. I actually don't mind the first action scene with Electro in Times Square. I like the dark and gritty version of Electro they did there. However, after that, he just starts saying puns. And somehow he creates a lycra suit. How? Where did he get that from? What? I don't get it. Why does he need to wear that? He weren't wearing that before. He was just wearing rags. And then we have Green Goblin. Now, oh God. People who hate William Dafoe's Green Goblin have probably never seen this film, because Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn and Green Goblin is terrible. He looks like he has measles when he's the Green Goblin. And to be honest, I don't get what the Green Goblin's actual story arc is in this movie. He's trying not to die, but when he gets injected with the blood, he ends up healing himself anyway by going into a suit. Couldn't he have just gone into that suit already, and would that have healed him? I don't get, if this disease is going to kill him, then why does he have a suit which appears to heal it? Couldn't he just use that anyway? And then we move on to the Rhino. Oh boy. The Rhino appears in 5 minutes of this movie. We do get the guy who apparently is the Rhino at the start of this movie, and then we just get 5 minutes of the Rhino at the end. And it's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. Basically, when he came on screen, I heard people laugh. He was just, whoa, that acting was bad. And I know that Paul Giamatti is a good actor. However, he really weren't in this movie. It looked like something that should have been in Batman and Robin. The villains in this are an absolute joke. None of them are scary. None of them are compelling. You don't feel for any of them. And they just are stupid. All their ideas and everything that they're going for is just stupid. Another thing which really damages this movie is universe building. Now, you can do universe building in a movie effectively. Just look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They do it every time. Now, Sony, obviously trying to catch up with Marvel, decided that The Amazing Spider-Man could launch a number of spin-offs, including the Sinister Six, a Spider-Woman movie, even an Aunt May movie. Now, I'm so sad that got cancelled, because I would have loved to see an Aunt May movie. It sounds like the best thing that could ever happen, and I'm so sad that we missed it. A moment of silence for the Aunt May movie. Okay, now some of these spin-offs did get made. Venom got made, but it weren't really a spin-off to this universe, because they figured out that in this movie, the universe building they do is atrocious. 30% of this movie is universe building. All they do is they keep pushing in references, they keep pushing in characters, and even at one point, you go through the expedition room where you see all of the Sinister Six costumes. And I think the only point of that room was the producers saying, look, we can do a Sinister Six movie, you've got that to look forward to. The only problem is that at the expense of building a universe, they didn't pay attention to the good writing or storyline. So you're sitting through garbage, which is just expedition. And when it's not expedition, they're just trying to build a universe which isn't even going to happen in the future. So what's the point? All I'm seeing is references to loads of Spider-Man characters so they can just suck the money out of you by making a number of spin-offs. Sony, if you wanted to make spin-offs, then you should have created a cinematic universe which the viewers would have been invested in. Not just rushed out a half piece of shit which you expect everyone to just watch so you can get more money. It's an absolute disgrace. You should have had no involvement in this movie whatsoever, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. In contrast, let's talk about one positive in this movie, and that is the acting from Andrew Garfield. Now, Andrew Garfield for some time was my favourite actor to play Spider-Man, and I feel that with better writing he could have been a really good Spider-Man. He showed potential in The Amazing Spider-Man, and I think if the writing in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was not so atrocious, then maybe he could have done better. I feel like he's putting his all into this performance, but he can't save this terrible writing which is being used in this movie. Emma Stone also does a good performance, and her chemistry with Andrew Garfield really does help those characters, and you do feel invested with them. It's just such a shame that everything around them is so erratic and chaotic that you can't really save this movie. Their relationship and their characters cannot save this movie at all. This movie was doomed from the off. I mean, the trailers looked good. However, there was too many villains in this movie. There was too much universe building, too much expedition. They were trying to do so much in this movie that they forgot to actually focus on the Spider-Man character. Instead, we get a massively overloaded movie which no one enjoys. So in conclusion, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of my least favourite movies of all time. It struggles because it is so overloaded with expedition and universe building. I believe that the director and Sony producers forgot about the character of Spider-Man and just focused on building a universe so that they could make money from a variety of spin-offs. This movie is really, really bad. I hate it. I hate what it did to the character of Spider-Man. The villains are stupid. The plot is just all over the place. And that is why The Amazing Spider-Man 2 gets a 1 out of 10. Now, I have never given a movie 1 out of 10 before, but this movie does deserve it. It was terrible. The only good thing about this movie was that it was that bad that the rights went back to Marvel, and Marvel and Sony are working together to make better Spider-Man movies. I hope I never see another solo Sony venture with Spider-Man again, because they showed this time that they really don't have a clue what they're doing and they're only interested in making money. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed my Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie review. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. This is the second to last movie in my Spider-Man review series. I will be reviewing Spider-Man Homecoming in the near future. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I've got quite a lot to say about that movie as well. So I will see you in the next one. See ya!